Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that affects literally every single one of us, the hidden mechanics of our bank accounts, and more importantly, our minds. If you've ever looked at your balance and felt frustrated with your savings, I promise you, you are not alone. Let's dive right in.
Have you ever promised yourself you were going to save money this month, but somehow you ended up spending it anyway? I know I have. We all do it. And it turns out this isn't a failure of your character. It's not just about your income, and it's definitely not just about willpower. Saving money is deeply, deeply influenced by human psychology and our habits. It's really a behavioral puzzle. Okay, let's see exactly how to solve that puzzle together.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to map out 5 psychological traps holding us back: the allure of instant rewards, lifestyle inflation, emotional spending, vague goals, and finally, the ultimate behavioral cure, paying yourself first.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the brain versus saving money, and exactly why we crave instant rewards.
This brings us to a little something called present bias. By definition, this is our psychological tendency to overvalue immediate rewards while completely ignoring the long-term consequences. Think about human evolution for a second. Our ancestors needed instant calories and instant shelter to survive today, not 30 years from now. So our brains are literally hardwired to prefer the instant gratification of buying something shiny and new right now over the distant, abstract security of putting that money into a savings account.
Be honest, it usually sounds a bit like this in our heads. You know what, I'll just buy this right now. I can always start saving next month. We have all said this. It is the classic internal monologue we use to justify skipping a savings goal. We convince ourselves that future us will be much more disciplined than present us. But, spoiler alert, future us operates with the exact same brain.
So how do we actually outsmart our own biology here? You gotta try the 24-hour rule. It's incredibly simple. Whenever you feel the urge to buy something non-essential, just pause. Force yourself to wait a full 24 hours before completing that purchase. When tomorrow comes around, reevaluate. You'll so often find that the intense psychological urge to buy, that massive spike of dopamine, has completely faded, and you realize you don't actually need another kitchen gadget. You can comfortably leave it in the cart and keep your money.
Moving right along to Section 2, the lifestyle inflation trap. Earning more but saving the exact same amount. To really understand this one, we have to look at this fascinating concept called the hedonic treadmill. This is the psychological tendency to quickly adjust our baseline expectations and our spending to match any increase in our income. You work hard, you get a raise, and for a brief moment, you feel rich. But then, almost invisibly, that new income just becomes your new normal. The thrill completely fades, and suddenly, luxury becomes a necessity. You're running on a treadmill, but financially speaking, you weren't actually moving forward.
Think about how this plays out in real life. On your previous salary, you made coffee at home, and you drove an older, reliable car. On your new salary, you upgrade to daily gourmet coffee and a brand new car lease. Your income went up, sure, but your spending expanded right alongside it to absorb every single extra dollar. The raise silently vanished into upgraded daily habits, leaving your savings rate exactly where it was before.
The absolute best behavioral cure for this is called automating the raise. It just comes down to 3 steps. First, identify your raise or bonus amount. Second, before you even see it hit your checking account, immediately divert a percentage of that new money directly to savings. And third, enjoy the rest completely guilt-free. By capturing that money before you ever have the chance to get used to spending it, you step entirely off that hedonic treadmill.
All right, Section 3, emotional spending uncovered, buying feelings rather than things.
This one requires a little bit of empathy, honestly, because it happens to the best of us. Emotional spending involves the psychology of using purchases to cope with stress, sadness, or even to celebrate, rather than actually fulfilling a practical, logical need. We often call it retail therapy, and there's a really good reason for that. Our brains literally use the physical act of swiping a card or clicking Buy Now as a quick emotional coping mechanism to instantly alter our mood.
Have you ever caught yourself saying this? Man, I had a terrible day at work. I deserve this $50 takeout to feel better. It's so incredibly relatable. We actively tie our self-worth and our mood regulation to spontaneous, unplanned purchases. We aren't really buying a meal, are we? We are buying a temporary feeling of comfort after a stressful day. But those unplanned emotional purchases are exactly what drain our savings accounts over time.
The trick here is establishing completely free coping mechanisms. First, try to pinpoint your triggers. Is it stress, boredom, sadness? Once you know the trigger, swap the behavior.
Swap the endless online shopping for a walk outdoors. Pick up the phone and call a friend instead of spending money. You got to process those complex emotions in a healthy way that doesn't cost you a single dime.
Section 4. Setting clear financial goals and the hidden danger of being vague. To get why vague goals fail so often, we have to understand the goal gradient effect. This is a truly amazing psychological principle that shows our motivation actively increases the closer we get to a clearly defined specific target. It's crazy how our minds work. If the finish line is blurry or missing, our brain just checks out. But if the target is crystal clear, our brain kicks into high gear to reach it.
Just compare a vague goal to a clear one for a second. Saying, save more money or buy a house someday. Those are just vague intentions. They fall totally flat because your brain has no idea what more or someday actually means. But save $200 a month for an emergency fund, or save $10,000 for a down payment by 2028, now those are clear, hyper-specific goals that give your brain a definitive, actionable roadmap.
So, a great way to put this into practice is to take just one vague financial wish you have today and convert it. Step 1, pick exactly what you are saving for. Step 2, assign a very specific dollar amount to it. And Step 3, set a hard, non-negotiable deadline. Literally transform your someday into a when.
And that brings us to Section 5, always pay yourself first. This is the ultimate behavioral hack to outsmart everything we've talked about so far. Behavioral economics teaches us a ton about friction, which is really just the resistance that prevents us from taking an action. If saving money requires you to log into an app, do some mental math, and manually move funds every single time, well, that is high friction. It becomes a daily struggle against your own willpower. But by removing that friction, we can make saving money the default automatic choice instead.
Look at the feeling, traditional method that most of us use. We earn money, we spend it on whatever we want or need all month, and then we try to save whatever happens to be left over. There is rarely anything left over. The winning method flips this entirely. Step 1, earn. Step 2, save automatically right off the top. Step 3, spend what is left. You are literally paying your future self first before anyone else gets a cut.
The absolute most critical takeaway here is to just automate it. By opening your banking app today and setting up a recurring transfer on the exact day you get paid, you remove friction entirely. If you do this, you never have to rely on your own willpower again. Your savings will just grow in the background without you ever having to think about it.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to remember this core idea. Building wealth doesn't start with a massive paycheck. It starts with small, daily financial habits. Everything we talked about today, overcoming present bias, beating lifestyle inflation, redirecting emotional spending, getting hyper-specific, and automating your success. These are all choices. They are habits you can build regardless of what you earn. Your daily choices are the true, solid foundation of your wealth.
So I'm going to leave you with one final, really important question to think about. Which of these 5 practical actions are you going to implement today? Are you going to try the 24-hour rule? Are you going to finally automate your savings? Knowledge is powerful, for sure, but action is what actually builds your bank account. Pick one and start right now. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.